And hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Andy Lindahl here. I'm very excited because I got my mic going again, and my man Scott's here. All right, I'm going to play with these. I got these. There we go. Look at that. I got us better than we've been before. How about that? Learning things the more that I play with this.
You
Scott
like to just
Hastings, how are you?
jump on. You like to jump on and go the Andy Lindahl show for just a little bit, then you bring me in, don't you?
No, I screwed it up because I can't show you everything because I'm using the Facebook camera or whatever, the FaceTime camera. I I downloaded. I don't want to get too technical. The platform you and I are on
Right.
was all of a sudden not letting me use our podcast board that you and I like very much. So I downloaded a different browser that had said this was also great on, and now everything's working again. But I had to plug in something that allows me to use my light and the board at the same time, which put me 2 minutes off. So, but I'm trying to just make sure we get on, and I have to then invite you, so everybody knows I have to actually invite you into this thing the way this deal works. And so I was just trying to get on so people wouldn't be waiting for us because we're trying to be better. I'm trying to be better about keeping our appointments, Scott Hastings.
There you go.
There you
I
go.
even saw you. I accidentally got on Twitter
I know.
tonight. I and actually retweeted your thing, and I went, "Oh, that's how that works."
Yeah, about that. Now a few more people know that you're here. I'm trying to figure out. I got to figure out what to watch. You know what I don't like? I don't like when. By the way, can you see my little on air sign? I got to show you a little. Look at that. Yeah, we'll use that too. What do you say? Huh?
Did you clean up your one room? Did you? Are
No,
you in a new room?
not at all. No, it's all that way. I'm against that one wall. Normally, I'm sitting just to my right, which is the couch everybody's used to with stuff in the background. I've now come to this wall.
Yeah.
Well, because I did it at first because you love the Christmas tree so much. Okay.
Yeah.
But now I'm trying to. I want us to be able to use. I want us to be able to. I'm going to use my on-air sign. It looks professional. What do you think?
Really, I'm using my leather headboard. The handcuffs go right up. Oh, I mean, never mind. Yeah.
Wow, that kind of trip, huh?
No, dude. Hey, let me tell you what kind of trip it is. Here's what I've been doing all day today.
Yeah, people knew. We had a few people ask, "Are you recovered?" One of our guys, I think it's Drew, who lives out of town, wanted to know if you felt better after your tough show today.
No. In fact,
still not there?
No.
Hold on. Look, we don't need to get into detail, internet or not. Are you not feeling the effects of what you took?
Well, as is, it seems like you're in my life continually. There are stories that abound when we get into predicaments. And as soon as we got the radio, I felt horrible. I laid down and I fell asleep for about an hour and 15 minutes, right? Just knocked out. And then I go, well, I think there's a Walgreens or some, within a couple blocks. Let me go over there and get something. And so I got up, started walk, and I made about 10 feet. And I went, ooh, no.
The old body said, retreat, bad plan.
Yeah, bad plan. So then think, well, how can I do this? So I said, well, Vince, let me get Instacart. So long story short, I ordered Instacart, and and could have it delivered here. And all of a sudden the app, boom, hey, he's 4 minutes away. So I did walk downstairs. I figure I'm 20 steps the elevator, down the elevator, right there. And I text the guy, boom, I'm waiting outside. He goes, I'm here. Where are you? I go, where are you? He goes, I'm in front of the T-Mobile place. I said, T-Mobile place? I'm standing in front of the Nines Hotel. Hotel? And I put it in the app. And so now I'm walking out looking to see if I can see him. I said, to the left is this. The Portland courthouse is right here across the street in front of me. The big Christmas tree is out to my right, blah, blah, blah. You're downtown Portland? I go, yeah. And because the app said current location, hit that, it put up an address. I don't know what the address is, so I'm assuming it's GPS. And then they say, is there a close thing that says 9 hotels? So I hit that button, boom, nine hotels populates. Well, this guy goes out about 35 miles outside of Portland to try to deliver to me. So he's out in the country somewhere. Well, I'm out walking, and all of a sudden I look up and I see a VE. I went, oh, or VS. I went, oh, there's a CVS literally 3/4 of a block away. So I walk over there. By the way, you ain't just getting aspirin and Imodium without having to get somebody to come over because everything's behind plastic and locked up here in Portland, right? So got my things, bam, bam, went down, checked out, walked, took about 2 steps and went, uh-oh. Sometimes when you walk, the little air bubbles pop out.
Sure.
Air bubble popped out, clean. Thank God. I went, oh, Lord. I'm looking down. I'm now about a football field away from the hotel. So I mean, it ain't, when you got to go, that a football field ain't close, right? Get there, come up, bing, bing, a bomb. End up, and then had to get on the app. Then I had to find, it's funny. I used a debit card to pay for my stuff on Instacart. And it's funny when they finally, after about 20 minutes of conversation, decided we'll refund your money. It's kind of funny that I said, well, it'll take 4 to 5 days. Well, wait a minute.
Yeah, you took it right away.
You took it out right away. Why is it going to take 4 or 5 days for me to hit my account? It came out right away. Okay, well, just put it back in right away. But anyway, so I walked, and then I took a couple, and I've been good. But then literally 2 minutes ago, boom, boom, boom. So we'll see. I'll wait another till after this, maybe pop in a third. I've already taken 2 of those.
Well, look, if nature calls, and God knows I've dealt with that enough, you can put the phone down, and we'll just know what's going on.
Oh, you know what? Maybe we're talking about changing the name of the podcast.
No.
Call it In the Crapper with Lindahl and Hastings.
No.
Actually, that'd be a good nickname. In the Crapper with Lindahl and Hastings. Because you and I are always in the crapper, figuratively or not.
Yeah. Well, that's right. Figuratively, not always literally, but sometimes literally. Yeah, man, it's okay. Well, I'm glad you're better. I hope that stuff.
Other than my tummy rumbles and I've got leakage. Yeah. I'm good.
Yeah, that stuff you take that usually seals me for at least a week. I mean, it which you don't really love that either. But anyway, all right, let's. I don't even know where to start. It feels like tomorrow's going to be crazy, right? Tomorrow's one of the craziest days, I think, in sports history of Denver. You got the Broncos, Nuggets, and Avs all playing on the same night. Now, the good news is the Broncos will kick off about 6:15, so most of their games should be done by the time, like, you could easily, if you needed to watch the Bronco game, you could probably get the whole Bronco game in and still catch, it's not good news for you, but still catch most of the Avs and the Nuggets, right?
Well, so we'll start 7:00 here, so it's 8:00 you guys.
Yeah. Which is this a TNT game? What are we doing?
No, it's just we're in Pacific time. It'll be 7:00 here in the West Coast.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
With time change, it becomes 8 for you guys. And
but it will start at 8. My point is, no national TV means we won't be waiting on some other game to finish, right?
Are the Avs at home?
No, the Avs are on the West Coast too.
That's right. They're just in Vancouver, weren't they?
Yeah. I think it's Anaheim. No, it's Anaheim tomorrow and San Jose Saturday.
Yeah.
Right? Or is it San Jose tomorrow? Maybe it's San Jose first. They're doing that old double dip with Anaheim, San Jose, which sometimes people get a little like the warm weather, if it's, you know what I mean? The old California flu, so hopefully none of that's going on.
You come out and you start skating and you got a sunburn. I did that one time. God, I think I was with Detroit, and it's colder.
Yeah.
A witches, Nebraska.
Sure.
And we got there and they put us down on the Sunday and we didn't play till like Tuesday.
Really?
So, man, and I'm out by the pool on Monday. Man, I got in that game. I was so pink and red and sunburnt. I got hit with an elbow in the 4th quarter. I come back to the locker room, take off my jersey, and my chest was so red from the sunburn. Where they hit me, they had little white diamonds imprinted into my skin from my jersey when the guy hit me with an elbow. So yeah, that that warm weather when you're a cold climate. Now the good thing is Denver's been fairly warm. On a couple of days of snow, we had pretty good days. Been warm all week, right?
Yeah, today I don't know. This morning was pretty frosty, but it finally warmed up. We'll get into the sports in a minute, but it was kind of funny. Not funny for him. I had to go get my dog fixed finally. Right, my boxer. It was his turn, and I told you this morning, and he did it again. He's done it every time. So for those that don't know, I'll make it quick. But this boxer is such a great boxer, and the breeder actually wanted to keep him, but only one of the jingle bells dropped. Right, so you can't stud a one ball pony. So when that happens, they go and they do the normal procedure of snipping the one off, but then they got to go on up in there and get the other one. And so it's a little more, it's like he got both procedures, both a spay and a neuter. And so he's a little tight in the back. So if you can imagine taking your hands and walking down the stairs on your hands, like doing a handstand, that's basically what he's been doing to get down the stairs to go to the bathroom. So, yeah.
Pressure on that back end. So, hey, don't tell me it ain't sore then, huh?
No, it's sore. Yeah. So anyway, that's
lay on the couch, watch some TV, and put a bag of peas on it.
Well, that's what I was trying to bring him down here to do that, but he's the sedation's worn. See, I got the two worst puppies for this because the boxer and the pug are two of the most hyper dogs you can have. So, and we're trying to keep them away from each other, and it just is a whole thing. But whatever, it'll be fine. But yeah, the cold. I had to bring him down through my basement today because I was worried he was going to slip on the steps because it's a little slick this morning. I haven't seen. Hopefully, I wouldn't.
Had outdoor soccer practice tonight at 7:00, or no, 4:30. Excuse me, 4:30.
Yeah, it was okay by then. I just stood out there with him. I'm trying to see what we got cooked up for Christmas. It looks like now Bianchi always warns you don't go to the apps, but the Apple app claims we're going to have about a high of 49 on Christmas. So I don't think we're going to get a white Christmas this year, which is too bad. Let me see what 9 News is saying. I like a white Christmas, but yeah, I think we're going to take next week off.
Drive up about an hour and a half up into the mountains, and they got snow. I know Grand Lake and Grand County, and them, they got a couple feet of snow already up there, I think.
Well, so 9 News is saying PM showers, rain. Who doesn't love a rainy Christmas? All right, whatever.
That famous Bing Crosby song.
Yeah.
Of a rainy Christmas.
Just like the ones no one used to know. Where the treetops glisten. It's easy to imitate the low voice guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't do the high voice guys. The Nuggets trade stuff. We might as well start there. You're a basketball guy. Boy, we put some stuff out there. It's funny. Scotty, with what we do, it's funny. I'll give everybody a pull behind the curtain. You talk about one thing one day, like you bring up trade scenarios, and it felt like for the last couple weeks, of course, everybody wants Jamal traded, and I can't say it enough. You can't trade him, okay? I don't have a problem if that's your opinion. I think it's a little too soon. I think the guy's done a lot for this team, but I understand the frustration. I really do. I'm not so removed from being a fan that I can't relate to your frustrations, so I do. But you can't trade him, so we can't talk about that. He's not tradable until the start of next year.
When you say you can't trade him by the NBA bylaws,
right?
He's not tradable for for 1 year, I think.
Right, till his contract starts next year. So maybe training camp you could try to work it out, but I mean, come on. So anyway, so you talk about Jamal Murray, you talk about MPJ. Everybody, when you talk about how things aren't going well, you get 1,000 text messages where it feels like everybody wants to tell you MPJ sucks or this guy sucks or that, because everybody sucks on the text line, right? Get rid of this guy, get rid of that guy, whatever. Then we finally get a trade scenario, and I thought, okay, we ought to have some really happy Nuggets fans today when we go in there to talk about it. This ought to be interesting. And then I turn around and go in there, and everybody's upset. Don't trade MPJ. What the hell's wrong with you? This is the dumbest thing ever. You guys have horrible takes. And I'm like, well, first off, if they're going to make a trade, again, the only big contract you can think about moving is the MPJ contract. You can't trade Gordon. You can't trade Jamal. I don't think you'd want to trade Gordon, quite honestly. But it's just funny to me how I feel like we went from I got a guy that is a good texter and tweeter. Look, I don't have a problem if you got a problem with my takes. It's what we get into this business for. But he's all up in his feelings. I think it's Jeremy is his name. He's like, don't you dare trade MPJ. That would be a horrible decision. All right. So
Well, listen, there's 1,000 ways you can go, and it's kind of like a few years ago. I threw out there and just got hammered by Avs fans about trading Girard, and you think it's a personal thing about Girard, or people will think it's a personal thing for Michael, and it's not. If you're going to receive quality talent, the only way you're going to get that is if you give quality talent or a number of draft picks. And guess what? Denver doesn't have a whole lot of draft capital. So you're not going to be able to woo guys with a lot of draft capital. So that's the whole thing. Levine, I've never been a Giant fan. I said this on the show today, and as soon as I give you my feelings, I'm sure they'll make the trade. But one, that the salary doesn't match up, so there are going to have to be other things involved. Two, the one thing that's lacking on this team is shooting, and you're talking about getting rid of your best shooter. For a guy that historically over his career, and that was his knock coming out of UCLA, is that he couldn't shoot. He's having a career year at threes this year over 40%, but he's a 34% three-point shooter. And if you go back and look at the handful of losses they've had today, this year, 10 losses, I'll bet you 5 of them, they're in the 20% in three-point shooting in 5 of their 10 losses. So go check that out. So that's another thing. And then, listen, Levine has got a player mindset and really kind of a B minus C plus role is what he would have to be. And I just, he's had opportunities to be the guy. He can't pull off the guy. So we're going to, let Porter be a guy on the team. Let's see what he do with somewhere else. Well, he might score more, but he's not an A player either. And that may make people upset, but that's just the truth. It is. I think he's a top 5 pure shooter in the league. I'd sit there on that and have no problem riding that pony if there was 3-point contest. Duke can shoot as good a shooter as Denver's had in a long, long, long time. So that's the one thing. When you're talking about making a trade, and if something needs to be done, you got to look the availability of who can be traded, and there's a number. You ain't trading Joker, right? Unless you want to completely start over. And guess what? If you wanted to completely start over, then you trade Nikola Jokic, and you probably get about 5 first-round draft picks and a really serviceable guy, but you ain't getting Joker back. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you ain't trading Joker. Murray you cannot trade. I don't think you can trade Gordon because I think you extended him also.
You did. And it doesn't kick in for like 2 years or something. He did them a solid, if you remember. So
Westbrook didn't make a lot, and he's a free agent, so you have to wait till January 15th, I believe, which is just around the corner, to be able to move him. Everybody else is available. But does anybody want everybody else? That's another. I told the story today. Jack McCluskey, the old GM for the Detroit Pistons, late great. He was a phenomenal guy, man, and general manager. When the Lakers drafted Magic Johnson, he called up the Lakers and offered, I guess it'd be Jerry West. I don't know if it's Jerry West in or not, but he called up the Lakers and offered him his entire team.
Wow.
He said, you can have all 12 players on my roster for Magic Johnson. And Lakers said, no thanks. Right?
Yeah, right.
Just because you got bodies don't mean people want them bodies. Right? Unless you're going to throw in some draft capital, which I just mentioned they don't have. Then, hey, take this guy off our hand. We'll add your guy, save a roster spot. And, oh, by the way, we'll give you 2 second-round picks in the future or whatever. Well, they don't have a lot of that stuff. So that's out the window. It's going to be tough for them to do. Porter's about the only guy with value you could trade. And I'm with you. It'd have to be for me to and listen, I've been as harsh and as critical on Michael. He doesn't move well. I'm still not 100% sure he would pass another team's physical. Um, he's a sweet kid. He's not an A player. He's got an A shot, but he's not an A player. Um, but that's the only way you can bring in a kind of a big name. I was listening to a podcast where you called, and they were talking about would Miami take Porter for Jimmy Butler. Well, yeah, I don't know. Hey, I don't know what the salaries match up. But
Yeah, and then you're both. No, I think Nate had said, or no, someone wrote it. Somebody put out there that you're both going into bigger aprons, so you really can't do that. You really can't do that. Real quick, okay?
well, you can
But
do it. Don't mind paying, and you better win a championship.
no, you're absolutely right. Here's the deal. First off, to Angelo for the December rain, because I love November rain. I used to learn how to play that on the guitar, but December rain, Axel didn't sing about December rain. Here's our guy, Jeremy. Jeremy, I hope I'm not misrepresenting. I think Jeremy's the guy that was talking to me on X. So I'll try to read this, and here's what he had to, because he basically wrote me a couple times, but said, I don't want them to trade MPJ. So Jeremy says, my feelings are this. Everyone was up in arms after mini game 7 loss and said the Nuggets went too hard in the regular season. Now they've shifted down a couple of gears in the regular season, and everyone is pissed at the effort isn't there. We're barely a third into the season. People need to chill. Let's hold on to this core that won you a title. Let's not make a big move just to make a big move. Now, Jeremy, I will tell you, Scotty, you and I have kind of talked about that. Jeremy, Jeremy's right. When this is every sport, by the way. We all are fine with the conservative approach to crap in the spring. The Broncos, you got to develop. You got this and that. The Nuggets, the Avs. We were all saying play the young guys in the spring or in the summer, play the young guys. But the minute we get to games, ain't nobody including the coach, I think, don't want it's no more slow go. Now it's why are we losing? Play the starters 1,000 minutes. And so I don't disagree with what Jeremy's saying at all right there.
Right. No, he makes good points. And I will say this to add to your comment, Jeremy, that teams, though, will make trades to make a trade if they think they need to shock the locker room. You'll get a guy that maybe he may not be your A, B, or C player, but he's a voice, or he's a well-liked guy, or, whatever. Same thing, I guess, with firing coaches at times. Sometimes they'll do it to see if they can wake the hell up out of the locker room. I'm with Jeremy, and I've been trying to say this. Their first 22 games they played, they've now played 24. In the first 22 games you've played, you only had Joker, Gordon, and Murray together in 8 of those games. That's your big core, right? I mean, that's probably your top 3 player. And Michael's that frosting that you can't get enough of. That you save for the end of that cupcake because you can't wait to eat it. But that's the 3 big parts of your team. They played in 8 of the first 22 games together. And I don't think more than I had a producer look it up. I don't think more than 3 or 4 games in a row in those first 22. So that's a lot of losing some chemistry and consistency and getting back on that same page that you got to get back on.
All right. Can I jump in and ask you a question real quick? Because you brought up chemistry and so did Jeremy, and Nate and I got into a discussion about it today on the air. How long does chemistry last you, Scotty? You've been part of plenty of teams in your life. Because look, I'll tell you this. Last year, the chemistry to me was chef's kiss most of the year. They just were too tired to finish it off in the playoffs. This year, the chemistry don't feel the same. And it doesn't feel totally right now. So how long does chemistry last? How long can you ride chemistry?
Well, I mean, you look at the Chauncey's teams that went in Detroit, went 6 straight times Eastern Finals. That Isaiah Thomas teams went 6 straight times to the Eastern Conference Finals and 3 to the finals. Um, if it's legit good chemistry, it can last forever. But you know what? You know what usually wears out in that chemistry? Mind and body.
Okay.
Mind and body usually catch up before you don't stop liking Vinny Johnson, or you don't stop liking Jamal Murray, or you don't stop liking your buddy if you've been on that team for 6 or 7 or 8 years together. It's just after a while. Well, I'm used to this guy being able to get to that spot quicker. I'm used to this guy to get that rebound more often. And you know, as we might be seeing with LeBron right now, him or he's trying to delete all of his Jay-Z emails. Um, Father Time will catch up with you. It's undefeated. He may go around the block a couple times before he comes back and gets you, but he always gets you. And so it's usually I've found out it's more the mental fatigue than a chemistry thing, to be honest with you.
All right. Does this chemistry feel the same with this team from your point of view?
Yeah, because but see, I'm in a different role. I get to see him on buses and airplanes and in the hotels at breakfast and there does seem to be a good chemistry. And you are adding in loud piece when you brought in Russell Westbrook. So again, everybody's got to learn to fold their themselves around what's going on. Um, I will say this: in their meeting, it goes back to they haven't lost since. In Atlanta, they had a little team walkthrough at the hotel, and according to Coach Malone, he said Joker was vocal in that walkthrough. That was the night after a back-to-back game after they'd lost to Washington. Remember?
Yeah. Oh yeah. How could
They
we
said
forget?
very vocal. Well, guess what? At the time, Atlanta was like the third best team in the East at the time, or something like that, and pounded. I mean, beat them by 30 in Atlanta. Um, and then took care of business at home and won again on the road the other night, albeit having to come back a little bit. And even though they had a stretch where they didn't play good, there was no panic setting in. And you know what? You know how you get a team that doesn't panic? You don't get that if there's not chemistry.
Sure.
You know what I'm
Chiefs are that
saying?
way.
Yeah. And then it became matter of fact. I tell you, I'll give you a theory I see them going through right now a little bit. And I've noticed this the last couple games. And maybe it's because I think Nikola Jokic is all that and a bag of chips and whatever. I feel like he has now stepped back a half step and said, okay, Jamal, it's time. Let's go. And I could really see him trying to make the play for Jamal and really trying to get him a ball. If you notice the last couple of games, a lot more passes. I mean, let's be honest. How many people would have loved to have a 2013-11 game, in the NBA? I'd kill for that. That'd be unbelievable. And it was just for him. It was like, yeah, okay. But I just get a sense that he's trying to, without him saying it, figure out a way to get Jamal back going, get Aaron Gordon back going. I will say this. Someone told me this the other day. When you have an ACL replacement, they take they make a tendon on your ACL, right?
Okay.
And they either will take a little strip of your patella tendon or a little strip of your hamstring. Well, for Jamal's ACL, they used hamstring. What's been bothering him the last few months?
His hamstring.
And so the person that was telling me this said, I wonder if there's any, and I don't know, I guess I could ask a surgeon, but it would seem to me if you remove a little piece and then that might be a little, something he's going to have to work with and work on different than maybe he's ever had to do before.
Well, yeah, it's a possibility. I'll tell you what, I want to try to keep these things a little shorter so they're easy to digest on replay. Thoughts on tomorrow night's game for the Broncos?
I think they can beat the Chargers. I think they're running the risk. I'll say this on the radio show tomorrow. I think if they don't win tomorrow, they may be running the risk of not making the playoffs.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you've seen what Cincinnati's been doing.
Yeah, Cincinnati's heating up. They're still going to need a little bit of help. You'd lose the head-to-head to them.
Well, Cincinnati goes undefeated in their next 3 games. They will be in the playoffs.
Both teams are 9-7, and they'll have the head-to-head on you.
Right. So this game right here, I think, can give you a little. This game right here is. You ever got that uncle who sits there for Thanksgiving dinner, and he's the guy that unbuttons that button because he's got a little experience. So he unbuttons the button before he even gets started. He's given some room. He makes sure he got a little room before the meal is even served. Winning Thursday night would be unbuttoning the button before the playoffs started.
Well, I think it'll also help you because then you don't got to rush Riley Moss back, frankly. Okay? Can't be messing around with the MCL. Get this thing done. Because, see, right now, if you lose, you're going to need Riley Moss against T. Higgins or vice versa. You know, I don't know who's the bigger receiver, but I don't think you're putting PS2's got to go deal with Jamar Chase, right? So you need to get this win so you can keep Riley Moss chilling until the playoffs, in my opinion. Well,
if you get this win, there's a chance really in there that you could then even rest. If Surtain's not 100%, you could probably rest him in that Cincinnati game.
Right.
You wouldn't have to rush Riley Moss for that Cincinnati game. Bring him back for Kansas City. Here we go for the playoffs.
Yeah, maybe you see, to me, the other thing that you want to do is you want to make the playoffs, because here's the other thing, Scotty. Let's say Kansas City slips to the 2 seed, and that's all of a sudden because they may rest Mahomes. There's been a lot of talk on the NFL Network and ESPN, all the football shows. Do they just rest Mahomes? You know? So let's say they go ahead and Buffalo catches him, who's got the tie break. Well, you could do what many teams have done. The Colts come to mind immediately against the Broncos in the past. You get your playoff spot locked up tomorrow, and maybe then if Kansas City becomes the opponent, then you don't have to show them nothing that last Sunday of the year. Go ahead and have it, because we're going to come back at you with something new. We're not showing you anything until the playoff game. So
here's the thing, too. I think Mahomes, in the same vein of a Tom Brady or a Peyton Manning, John Elway, any of those great quarterbacks that we've watched play. And if you heard his comments this week, oh, no, I'm playing. You know what he knows? He don't want to go to Buffalo for an AFC championship game.
There's no doubt.
He does not want to travel to Buffalo to try to play in Buffalo where you don't know what the weather's going to be like for an AFC championship game.
But you know what's crazy? And like, you're right, dude. And look, there's something special about Mahomes. And I know he's not having a special season, but you and I were lucky. Hey, man, I covered Peyton Manning up close, man. The dude knew how to win. He knew how to close. That's how the Broncos got to Super Bowl 50. He was not playing a great football season. Homeboy was clutch every game you needed him to be. He did not miss one clutch moment during that Super Bowl run. Mahomes got that gene in him, so it does scare me that way. But I was saying this to Nate today. You know what the Broncos do have if they were to have to face the Chiefs in the playoffs? Stay with me here. For the Bills, for the Ravens, maybe even for the Steelers, but for the Bills and Ravens in particular, especially after last year where KC went into both their homes and took the playoff win away from them, the Chiefs are this dragon you have to slay, right? This goblin, this ghost you have to exercise. Right. For the Broncos, you're just a divisional opponent that we know pretty well, and frankly, we played you tight the last 5-6 years. So, I think the Broncos could go into KC a little bit looser than anybody else could if they could get there.
You've got knowledge that you had a chance and should have won a game. Baltimore, I don't think, if we got to play you, we don't want to see you to the AFC Championship game.
Right. And even then, do you know you can get over the hump? Look, I speak from the experience sometimes of whenever the Broncos need to go face the Patriots. You're going to be able to beat these guys? I told Nate, go back to 2013 where the Broncos went on to the Super Bowl to lose to Seattle. But remember who their first playoff opponent was after the bye. It was San Diego. And we were all stressing the divisional opponent because the Chargers didn't care. Phillip Rivers was at the end of the game. If you remember, Phillip Rivers like, I know in my heart if we got the ball one more time, we'd have beat those guys. Now, you didn't, but Denver can go in there feeling that way. Whereas I think especially in Buffalo, Chiefs have been such a specter for these guys home and away. I just think there's a different kind of pressure on Buffalo and Baltimore than the Broncos would face.
I think it's even more so in Buffalo. There is a big hump out there in the snow, and it's the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, and like the Nuggets haven't exercised the demon of the Lakers, no matter how good the Lakers are.
Yep. That demon's dead right now, but
that demon's been slayed. But
that was there, man. Absolutely, 100%.
So, all right, my friend. Hope the stomach treats you right. Maybe we may take a break next week and come back the week after, folks. We'll just kind of see how this goes because Tuesday'd be Christmas Eve, Wednesday'd be Christmas. I'm not doing one in either one of those days. And then you're out of town again. What's the Nuggets schedule Thursday? Do you play Christmas or day after?
Starting tomorrow, I'll give you a little tease. I'm doing in the right before the game hit. In the next 14 days, between tomorrow and the 1st of January, the Nuggets will play 8 games, 14 days, 10,000 miles of travel, 12 different All-Stars, 4 different states, and a partridge in a pear tree.
Now, Merry Christmas to all and to all a good night. Holy cow. What is your Christmas schedule? I can't remember. The Nuggets playing Christmas Day?
They play Christmas Day.
Midday, right?
We go to New Orleans day after tomorrow, so we'll leave New Orleans Friday, play New Orleans Sunday, get back home quick, play the 23rd at home game against Phoenix. The team will fly to Phoenix on the 24th, play in Phoenix the 25th, got a home game the 27th, and then fly somewhere the 20. No, we have 2 back-to-back home games. 27th, we had Cleveland. 28th, you got Detroit. And then fly the 29th to Utah, play Utah the 30th, back to 31st, play New Year's Day against somebody at home, too. Okay. And then back in on the 3rd and 4th, but I won't even talk about that yet.
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully it chills out at some point. By the way, I hope Angelo's still watching. My sign, remember my sign? You forgot about this. It doesn't say Lindahl. It's Lindahl. The N, they didn't quite put the H tail on it, so it is an H back there. I don't even know what that would say. Lindahl?
Lindahl.
Yeah, right here. Right about right there. That is an N, not an H, but I just was like, I looked at the company and I think it was in Israel or some overseas, and I'm like, the hell with it. I'll just keep the damn thing. It's kind of a cool sign. Too bad they don't know how to spell. And everything, I told you, everything on my packing receipt, my regular receipt, everything was an H. I'm like, come on, guys. Come on, man. Maybe somebody that's got glass talent could come over there and etch a little H tail up there or something at some point. Who knows? All right, my friend.
All right. Well, if we want to sneak one in before Christmas, let me know, or sneak one in after Christmas.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. What's that?
Maybe we do one on the 26th.
Yeah, maybe. I'm around. I ain't got nothing to do. So
you're going to be all alone. Maybe I'll come over and visit you.
I won't be alone till the 28th, but yeah, you can. Dude, if you come over, the 28th is going to be super. We're going to have the Broncos and Rams playing at the same time at 2:30. Rams are in the Snoop Bowl. And then we got the Buffs playing in the Alamo Bowl. It's like Super Football Saturday.
Oh, well, if I'm in town, maybe I'll do that.
Yeah, you come on over. Just tell Julia you gotta see a man about a horse, and it's gonna take a minute.
I watched with the warden and her family come over, and her and Dad basically have a freaking conversation for 3 hours.
Well, then just come over to my house, and nobody's gonna talk to you.
So live the Andy Lindahl life, right?
Yeah, just down here in the basement. You can have the couch.
Down in the basement, no one talks to you.
No one gives a damn. All right, Scotty. Goodbye, everybody. Right. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks for watching.
Andy.
Merry Christmas, all. And to all a good night.